Hello again. All right, we have The Origin of Elements, the Nobel Lecture, 8th December 1978 by Arno A. Penzias again. And I just wanted to point out another thing that I noticed about this writing. See, we have philosophy of element creation, okay? Now, this is a basic exothermic reaction given the energy released would be a positive amount, and, well, you have two portions that combine and create a larger molecule, then you have the extra energy that comes out of it. Now, that is written on page 445, and I find it interesting how we should mention exothermic reactions to combine parts to make a chemical compound, because that's what stars do. But in this case, he tries to use it just to justify how matter is created inside of supernova, inside of stars, inside of Big Bang. And I'm not too sure if he mentions cosmic rays, but I believe matter is created supposedly through that method as well. Now, one big question mark I had is, if you're going to have a philosophy of element creation, you can't just say everything is created and then that's that. It stops. You have to have the elements decompose. You have to have some method to recycle that matter. But the reason why he never mentions it is because he doesn't actually have that in mind. He wants to justify everything inside of a Big Bang, young universe model, okay? Now, I'm going to point out the reason why this is very bad reasoning and why it fails. Young Earth creationism. Now, I'm not really against those people. You can believe what you want to believe, but it doesn't work. Humans living with dinosaurs. And the reason why that happened is because you have, well, everything fitting inside of 6,000 years. So naturally, if you find anything that's fossilized, it can't be older than 6,000 years, meaning humans lived with dinosaurs. Now, we all know that isn't true. Number two, young universe creationism. This is what Penzias wanted to push forth into society, where the entirety of the known universe and unknown universe, the universe in general, is 13.7 billion years old, meaning the Earth itself is about 1/3 the age of the entire universe. Highly unlikely, okay? In this model, stars are mutually exclusive of older stars, which are called planets and exoplanets. That's what I've come to realize back in 2011. It's 2015 now, so it's been 4 years since this has been known. But basically, that also forces things not to make sense. Similar as to why humans living with dinosaurs doesn't make any sense, is because you have to force everything to fit inside of a little bubble of time. And another thing that forces people to theorize and make everything fit into a little bubble is that the synthesis of elements can only be considered because the time for decomposition of the elements is too great. A lot of elements, a lot of isotopes are incredibly stable and need many trillions upon trillions upon trillions of years to fully decompose. And that's just not allowed. And the Big Bang creationism, young Earth, or young universe model. So essentially, the universe cannot recycle itself. So they just ignore it. And the third way of looking at things, this is what I'm presenting, is inside of stellar metamorphosis. This isn't the actual theory itself. This is actually a theory of star evolution. But it fits that if we have stars that take longer than 13.7 billion years to evolve, then clearly the young universe creation model doesn't work. It just can't be correct because stars are inside of the universe and they don't operate that way. So the entire bigger picture cosmological idea is false from the beginning. With this, you can have dinosaurs living absent human influence. That's a plus. Young universe creation allows that to happen, but as we'll see below, B, stars can be older, notice that older part, than 13.7 billion years. and change their physical attributes by great amounts because of the fact that they can be older. I'd say a star can be as old as you want it to be. Now, mind you, maybe some stars are older than others as it stands right now, but a star can be really, really old. I'd say to form a core of a star like the Earth, I'd say easily over 100 billion, 150 billion years, easily. Number 3, allows time for decomposition of all isotopes, regardless of how stable they are. So granted, we think we understand isotope decomposition rates, but the truth is, maybe we don't understand that much about radioactivity. And no matter what we do, there's always going to be something new to discover in that regard. In other words, say you have an isotope that's extremely stable to maybe 50 trillion years. And then boom, we find a half-life of 60 trillion years. Now, what that would mean is that the universe itself is older than 60 trillion years because that isotope is there, you know? But basically, there you go. There's the reasoning. And the more and more I read this Penzias paper, I'll link it below, the more I realize that they didn't really know what they were doing, so they had to just make something up. And I think that making something up is where they went wrong. I think they should just have put things on hold before they really came to terms with what they were talking about, instead of just allowing things to willy-nilly go through the publication processes and then become textbook information when there was no supporting evidence of it. I think also in here, Fred Hoyle mentions that there's no evidence for the Big Bang at all. And I think Fred Hoyle was right about that. Today is June 4th, 2015. If anybody has any questions or comments, please leave them below.